Well, I think the Nelson Mandela centenary means several things. Firstly, it's important that South Africa is acknowledging the legacy of Nelson Mandela. But the meaning of the Nelson Mandela centenary is let's appropriate those values, those principles, that life and how it was lived, and appropriate it to ourselves and the way we conduct ourselves in society and in the world broadly. So it's really embracing a set of values that a human being lived and left as a legacy that all of us can draw on. So the Nelson Mandela centenary should really mean that you should live the legacy, that you should take on not obligations in a sense of work, but really a set of values that should imbue how we interface with others and taking on that role that we as this current generation, the generation that followed that of Mr. Mandela, and the future generation should all espouse those values, should all live them, and should ensure that we utilize them in doing what the man really was committed to, which is to change the world for the better. I think one of the things really is to live our lives with integrity, I think to be honest, to do all that we can in service of others if we are public servants, but wherever we are, I think do that which is for the good. That for me reflects what the message is life conveyed to us. So I think what I will try to do is do the best that I can in the work that I do the best that I can to be in service to others, and convey to the many, many youths that I meet in my job that here is someone that we should all seek to reflect in some way. We can't all be like him, but there's a part of us that can take on a part of him. And I think just by doing that, we can make the world a really different place. I often feel, in terms of Mandela Day, that we think an hour is enough, because he said 67 minutes. And some of us do sort of say 1 hour, 7 minutes on one day, the 18th of July. But I think it should be every day. And I think if we can just do a little thing, and sometimes it's a kindness, sometimes it's just greeting a person who's not greeted every day, someone you wouldn't usually speak to. Sometimes it's at work, that junior person who just arrived and is feeling really nervous and really lonely, and a kind word to them. The fascinating thing about Nelson Mandela was how he would greet everybody. And he wouldn't mind, even delay the start of the event or whatever, he was involved in, because he made everyone feel that they matter. So on Nelson Mandela Day, what I hope to do is to help a young person feel that they matter. I have found the foundation to be a really excellent organization in a range of ways. Firstly, as an academic and a student of history, I think the way in which they have taken on the task of reflecting the legacy in its many dimensions. So I feel that they haven't tried to place a halo on former President Mandela, but have actually made him a real person that young people, people of my age, can engage with and understand. But what I appreciate particularly is that I think on the African continent, we haven't sufficiently attended to the matter of recording our history. And the fact that the foundation took very seriously the archiving of the original records of Mr. Mandela, I think, is the most significant contribution that they're going to make to South Africans having their history at their hands. And so that record of his doings, of his writings, of his connection with us is a very important part of restoring our identity as Africans and as South Africans, because a great part of the inadequacy that we've experienced through colonialism and imperial history is that lack of a knowledge of ourselves. And so I believe they've made an immense contribution in that regard. And then, of course, the foundation challenges us as well, because it's not a comfortable space of just extolling. It's also a space of debate. They probe very difficult subjects and really make you confront, where you are and where South Africa is today and what we should be trying to do. And I think that's important. I'm not one who loves this phrase, speaking truth to power, but I think engaging on critical issues is absolutely important, and getting a society then to be able to debate very complex matters of social transition is an important role that the foundation has played. And it has, so many different programs, having various personalities deliver the lecture each year, and allowing then South Africans not to forget where we come from, but who we've had on the journey with us, is also, again, an important archiving, an important memory, an important sense of self. And finally, the work that they've done with building a children's hospital in Johannesburg. We all thought, I'm from Cape Town, that Cape Town is the place for a children's hospital. And now here we have another significant children's hospital in Gauteng, and I think that's been just an amazing contribution that the foundation has made to the legacy of Mr. Mandela.